Hey, deserving listeners, 90 Day Fiancé. Let's do it. Let's watch. Let's see what comes out of my face.
So I went up the dock, went fishing.
Okay.
I choose to try not to think too much about what's going on over there. I mean, I don't believe it because there's many times if he's just fishing or with his buddies, he'll answer and say, hey, what's up?
Sweetie, I want you to meet a friend of mine.
All right, interesting. So she just said that sometimes she calls and he answers the phone when he's fishing. And then other times she calls and he doesn't answer and he says, I was fishing. And she says, I don't believe it. I don't believe him. So I hope that she has a conversation with him, because if you don't believe someone, if you believe someone is lying to you actively, that is going to just destroy any trust and well-being you have for someone. So hopefully they've had a conversation, or they will have a conversation about that. If we're going off of the hypothesis, the very small one with very little data, that she's an overfunctioner and a mom to him, that she will actually treat him the way you would a teenager. When you ask your teenager son, hey, did you drink last night at the party? And he says, oh, no, Mom, I didn't drink at all. Can you really believe him? How do you know for sure? If you asked him, have you ever smoked pot before? And he's 17. And he's like, oh, no, Mom, I've never smoked pot. Any parent who knows the deal understands that there's a possibility that your teenage son is lying to you about the fact that he has not used pot before. Now, some kids are more open about that than others. But anyway, so when we have that expectation, we understand, well, sometimes kids will obscure things to me. I'm not going to take it personally. They're just worried they're going to get in trouble, or they're ashamed of it, or who knows. I don't need to know everything in their life. Is Stephanie doing that with Ryan? I have no indication of that, but let's just add that to the very small list of data points in that hypothesis column. The other possibility is that Stephanie, just struggles with being lied to, and she has a hard time communicating about that sort of thing. Or she has an issue with assuming people are lying when they're not actually lying, because she has been lied to a lot as she was growing up and later in life. So we just don't know, but let's keep track of that as we watch.
I really miss you though, honey.
I know, I miss you too.
All right, I love you.
I love you too.
I just see something in his eyes. Is he really with Stephanie because he's madly in love with her? Or is he madly in love with all the stuff that she can bring him?
So I don't know, but one of the questions that we have is that question: is the individual really in love, or are they just using the Stephanies of the world? The other question we would have is, for the people that accuse them of that or wonder about that, based on very little information. I mean, she just said there's something about the way he looks in his eyes. I didn't see that look in his eyes. And you just have to wonder, why did you jump to that conclusion? Is it racism? Is it xenophobia? What's going on there? A lot of people will email me or comment below and say, when everyone assumes that these foreigners are just in it for the money or just in it for the green card, it drives me crazy. Because the person commenting, they'll say that they're an American and they are with someone from another country. And even though they've been together for 15 years, everyone still assumes that their spouse is in it for the green card and the money, even though their relationship, it goes way deeper than that, way deeper than anything along those lines. And that it's just complete false racism and assumptions about people. So let's raise that question too. Is this individual jumping to that conclusion because of bias? I don't know. There's no way to know, but it is a question.
This is not necessarily the best card in the deck, the Chariot. There is another woman around him. And I'm being objective. There's no other way I could read this card. It shows two completely different women in his life.
I don't know what to say with this scene, honestly, but let's imagine that that's true. But let's imagine it's true. There are two women in his life. It could be a lot of different women. It could be his mom, could be an ex, could be his sister, Could be anything. Could be a mistress, who knows?
Maria actually told me a few years back that Ryan was still talking to his ex-girlfriend. He swore up and down that's just totally not true. But I have picked up his phone before. He's texting multiple women.
Yikes. So I was pulling for her and him because I don't know why. But then she drops this bomb. So he has a pattern of just completely lying to her. Wonderful. All right, well, how did you recover from that? Did he go to therapy as to why he would exhibit such terrible behavior, if that is even true as to what she's saying right here? But, boy, I'm going to assume the best. Let's say that Ryan dug down deep, went to therapy, really figured out, yes, I have this problem. I have issues with anxiety. I have issues with attachment. I have issues with trust. And that leads me down a road to cheating. And that's why I deal with that. And so I'm working on that so I don't do that again. I don't know. And did the two of them do a lot of recovery work on the trust there? Did the two of them go to therapy, couples therapy, to work on the fact? Because, I'm saying infidelity because whether or not he actually got together with those women, he clearly did something in the direction of communicating with women and lied about it. And so it's that betrayal, and it's a cheating of sorts. It's infidelity of sorts, right? And so did they go through a recovery process, or did they just sweep it under the rug? Let's find out.
And that was really tough on me. It was really tough.
And what did you do? It was tough on you. Makes total sense. How did you recover? Did he explain why he did it, or did you just say, well, he convinced me he's not going to do it again, and let's just move forward?
While I'm concerned about Ryan's infidelity, I'm worried these cards are picking up on my energy and not Ryan's. Because I have a skeleton in my closet too. Something I have not told Ryan.
So she cheated too, I'm guessing? Who knows? Now, there's nothing wrong with people having problems, infidelity included, and then recovering from that, learning from that, maturing from that, healing from that. But a lot of times the people on the show, they just sweep it under the rug and hope it doesn't happen again, and then it does happen again. As I always say, go to therapy, people. If you have issues like infidelity, there are people that are there that can help you with that so that it doesn't happen again. Just saying, I'm not going to ever do it again, or I hope they never do it again, is not usually a wise solution. If you break your arm, you don't just hope that it goes away. You go to the hospital, you go to a physician. If there's infidelity, if there's traumas that result in infidelity, or traumas that result in you being attracted to people who commit infidelity, then you go to a therapist to work on your traumas, to work on your attachment style, to work on your emotional regulation, to work on your awareness, to work on healing. And then usually that improves things. Not always, but it usually does. Let's continue watching.
About a year and a half ago, I had caught him again on the phone with 3 different women. I threw Ryan out that night, and I was crying. And right after, his cousin, Harris, called me, and I slept with his cousin.
So a little bit of details there that are interesting. A year and a half ago. So that means that they've been together maybe for 2 years, maybe longer. That's interesting. And before I said that was a strength because it indicates that they know each other well enough to make a decision as to whether or not they're going to be married to each other. On the other hand, we're hearing a lot of concerning behaviors between the two of them. Then she was very hurt, and so she had sex with his cousin. Yikes. Now, she feels bad about it. Sometimes things happen. How do you recover from that? Maybe she'll talk about it.
Basically, it was over between Ryan and I.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Oh, okay. So according to her, and this happens a lot, where you have a big fight or it's been a series of fights and you either say we're breaking up or you at least think, yeah, that's it. And who cares anymore? And I'm in a lot of distress. I need something to distract me. I'm going to either hang out with my friends or I'm going to maybe smoke some pot or I'm going to watch TV or I'm going to have sex with someone to distract me. It's not often the best choice for oneself and one's life, but people do it and it's very common. And so it sounds like that's what she did. She was in a lot of distress and so she just wanted something to distract herself from it. Who knows? Or she wanted to get back at him, that sort of thing. Who knows? Maybe she'll talk about it.
And I said, I'm going to be getting on a plane tomorrow. I'm going home. I can't deal with this. And he goes, no, stay. Let me come visit. You know, one thing led to another with Harris. Then after that, Ryan and I end up back together. But I've never told him about Harris. I have been holding this secret from Ryan.
So let's see. When they have the conversation, are they going to take care of each other? Are they going to start the process of rebuilding trust? As I always say, what a lot of people in her position think is, okay, I've got to come clean. I've got to tell him about it. And they don't think beyond that. They think, okay, I'm going to tell him about it and I'm going to say I'm sorry and then I'll be done. And job well done. Let's move forward with the relationship. But what happens is the person is usually devastated and very, very hurt. And their pain will last possibly for decades. And the recovery process emotionally and to build trust back and to fall back in love with each other, potentially, it can take years and years and years, even with therapy. So if they're ready to embark on that very difficult journey, then kudos to them. But often on this show, what happens is the Stephanies of the world just say, look, I told you, I apologize. I don't know why we're dealing with this still. I don't know. I'm predicting the future. Who knows what'll happen? Let's watch. All right. Well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.